Chris "Birdman" Andersen was an icon of the modern game of basketball, but more for his colorful personality and distinctive appearance than his on-court abilities. However, he was still a key player for several different NBA teams and is memorable for his hustle and energy. But what really happened to the Birdman Chris Andersen? His story possesses a great number of twists and turns, and you'd never be able to guess what lies around the next corner. Welcome back to All Things Pro Sports. Keep it locked in right here to find out everything that you need to know about the NBA's Birdman. And by the way, don't forget that once we reach 50,000 subs, we're giving away a PS5 or Xbox One with a copy of NBA 2K22. All you have to do to be entered to win is like, comment, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications. Before he became the Birdman, Chris Andersen had a rough and humble childhood. His family didn't have much growing up, and they had to live off the land in a small town in southeastern Texas. They went through their fair share of struggles, and at one point Andersen and his siblings had to go to a group home in Dallas for 3 years. Andersen was convinced to try out basketball by the varsity basketball coach at his high school. He was convinced to try this out because of his potential for earning a collegiate scholarship to offset his difficult home situation, especially considering his great size at 6 feet 10 inches. Andersen played well in high school, but his grades held him back from attending a higher level of university, such as the University of Houston. Instead, Andersen went off to a junior college called Blinn College in East Texas, where he again played well and led the entire collegiate league in blocks. Andersen was confident in his basketball abilities by this point, despite only playing the game for around 5 years. He was so confident, in fact, that he dropped out of Blinn in an attempt to play professionally in the NBA. This attempt was misguided, however, as he failed to recognize that he needed to officially apply to be included in the NBA draft. As a result, he did not accomplish his dream at this time and instead started an alternate route through lower levels of professional basketball. Helped by his high school coach, he first played in a semi-pro league in Texas, which led to a brief stint in the Chinese Basketball Association with the Jiangsu Nangang Dragons. After the CBA, he went into the International Basketball League, which now no longer exists, in order to play with the New Mexico Slam, where he finished the 99-2000 season. Still moving, stay with us, he briefly was a member of both the Dakota Wizards and the Fargo Moorhead Bees of the International Basketball Association, before then heading to the Southwest Basketball League to play with the Sugarland Sharks to finish the 2000-2001 season. Andersen finally got his NBA chance with the Cleveland Cavaliers in the 2001 NBA Summer League, but didn't make their active roster. He was drafted with the first overall pick in the NBA Development League, which would only end up playing 2 games in the D-League before being called up to the Denver Nuggets. Here, he quickly became known for his rebounding and shot blocking abilities in very limited minutes. Perhaps more importantly, he earned his Birdman nickname from Nuggets teammates Junior Harrington and Kenny Satterfield, who pointed out his impressive wingspan and wild energy on the court. Birdman played with the Denver Nuggets for most of the 2001-2002 season, as well as the following 2 seasons. While his impact wasn't immediately seen on any of the given box score, he did show off impressive per 36-minute stats, estimating the minutes of a primary starter, which painted him as having the impact of a quality inside scorer and rim protector. More than that, he was beloved by his teammates and admired by many around the league for his endless hustle and ability to provide a spark to all of the areas of the team off the bench. Andersen left Denver in July 2004 to sign with the New Orleans Hornets. There, he posted very similar stats in a very similar role to what he had with the Nuggets. He was a quality shot blocker and rebounder while getting his fair share of scoring in as well. Birdman suffered an infamous moment during the 2005 NBA Slam Dunk Contest. He tried for nearly 3 minutes to try and put down his first dunk, with many NBA stars watching from the sideline, before finally flushing one to end the embarrassment. He had a similar struggle during his second attempt, maybe due to fatigue from the first meandering dunk setup, but used his boundless energy to finally land both dunks. Despite his great effort, he is often cited as the reason for major changes to the slam dunk contest, including the addition of a time limit. However, the dunk contest debacle pales in comparison to the biggest hurdle of Andersen's career, which he experienced in January of 2006. He tested positive for a banned substance, specifically drugs of abuse, and got banned from the NBA as a result. Drugs of abuse are defined by the NBA as amphetamine and its analogs, which include methamphetamine, cocaine, LSD, opiates including heroin, codeine, and morphine, and PCP. Now, it is unclear which drug or drugs Andersen tested positive for, but it is fair to say that he had a major problem on his hands. He would need to wait at least 2 years to apply for reinstatement into the league. During the span of his ban, the Birdman first spent some time in a Malibu rehab center to try and clear out his issues. Following this, he just went back to work, coaching basketball back in Denver and trying to hone his skills in the gym in preparation for a potential return. Still a favorite of many throughout the league, his return was anticipated and expected. But Andersen still put in the work. He finally was able to apply for reinstatement in May of 2008, and his request was granted. He returned to the New Orleans Hornets for the last 5 games of the 2007-2008 season. Going into the next season, Andersen made his return to the Denver Nuggets on a 1-year deal. Here, he made his name heard again with a stellar season, especially defensively as a rim protector. Despite his off-the-bench role, he still was effective enough to finish second in the league with 2.5 blocks per game. He also remained a high-energy interior player with the ability to rebound and score, and helped Denver along as a key piece of their run to the Western Conference Finals. As he was a fan favorite in Denver for both his quality play on the court and his flamboyant appearance, it only made sense that the Nuggets would retain Birdman's services on a multi-year deal in the 2009 offseason. Andersen's play remained at a consistent level throughout the next 3 years with Denver, but let's instead focus on his off-court lifestyle. Already known for his colorful tattoos, the Birdman just continued to add to this collection during his tenure with Denver. In fact, his finished tattoo canvas covered virtually his entire upper body, including a prominent Freebird tattoo displayed across the front of his neck. The back of his head is also tattooed with phrases like "Give me war" and "Forever Nightmare," which let opponents know exactly about the hustle and energy that he brings to the court every day. Initially sporting a long-haired look and a headband, he would add a high-spiked mohawk to that ensemble during this time period, which is how many fans of today's NBA remember him. One other thing that you may not know about Chris Andersen, the Birdman, is that he is an animal lover and a prominent activist for the animal rights organization PETA. He was featured in a 2011 campaign for the organization called "Be Comfortable in Your Own Skin and Let Animals Keep Theirs." This campaign showed off his extensive ink collection and added yet another layer to the interesting story of Chris Andersen. Back on the court, Andersen continued to be a favorite in Denver. Personal friend Masai Ujiri, then the general manager of the Nuggets, desperately wanted to keep Andersen to fill his role as an interior spark plug. However, the team was dangerously close to the luxury tax threshold and ended up waiving the big man using the amnesty clause in order to avoid this penalty. So what could have been just a fresh start for Andersen quickly became something much worse. It was reported that he was being investigated for potential crimes involving inappropriate behavior with a minor, but had not been charged with a crime. Because of this, along with his previous off-court issues, teams were hesitant to pick him up going into the 2012-2013 season. After some time, it was revealed that the Birdman had been the victim of a sophisticated catfishing scheme cooked up by a rural Canadian woman. While the story is long enough that it could get its own Netflix series, the summary is that Andersen did not commit any crimes and his name was cleared before even being charged. The Nuggets' loss eventually became a gain for the Miami Heat. Long coveted by both Heat head coach Eric Spoelstra and Heat president Pat Riley, they finally got their man. With his trademark hustle and energy off the bench, Andersen jolted the LeBron Wade Bosch Heat again and again, but in no bigger spot than the NBA Finals. In Game 7, with the Heat needing to win against the San Antonio Spurs to secure another title, Miami trailed and looked like they were headed for disappointment. An entry into the game by Birdman made the South Beach crowd go crazy, and he repaid their enthusiasm with key contributions on an 8-1 run. The run was a major turning point in the game and led to the Heat's championship victory. Andersen stayed with the Heat for 2 more seasons, continuing his consistent performance. He would end up finishing his NBA career with short stints with the Memphis Grizzlies and the Cleveland Cavaliers, where we saw his stats start to decline due to injury and age. He joined up with the Big 3 League in 2018 and won the league championship with a team named Power in that same year. Chris Andersen's story is one that bobs and weaves through a series of unpredictable obstacles. From a troubled childhood in rural Texas to a 15-year NBA career as a fan favorite and effective interior player, his story is an inspiration to many. Overcoming a ban from the NBA, a long period of semi-pro basketball, and even a mysterious catfishing incident, Andersen never was boring. and he'll no doubt continue to be remembered by serious NBA fans everywhere, even after his career has been relegated to solely memories. So what do you think about Chris Andersen? Are you a Birdman fan? Do you think he could have been an even better player with more minutes on the court? Be sure to leave us a comment and make sure that you like, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications so you can watch our latest NBA content updates as soon as they drop. We'll catch you in the next one. Have a great day.